Bills and Jaguars. Two head coaches with 500 records in the playoffs. If 0-0 is 500. I'm not sure it is.
I think it's not a record. It's not a record, is what it is.
It's a non-record.
It's non-entity.
Well, it's something.
He has no record, is what he has.
He's not 500.
Right.
I think you can't call that 500, but it's equal. As many wins as losses. How about that? McDermott 7-7. 7 coaches active have winning records in the playoffs. And one of them is not Sean Payton, by the way, who is 9-9 in his career. Zach Taylor, Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Sean McVay, Nick Sirianni, Kyle Shanahan, and, of course, Dan Quinn.
Of course, Dan Quinn.
Sal Capaccio with us now on the West Her Hotline. Sal, what's new? How's life?
Life is good, guys. It's playoff week. I'm excited. It's a really intense time of year. It's exciting to kind of think about all these games, and I just, I don't know. I'm the kind of person, I don't know if you guys are the same. I try to think about what life is like after a win and what life is like after a loss. You know what I mean? On Monday, and how I'm reacting and how we're reacting. I know Bulldog, and we've talked about doing the shows before after losses, right?
Yeah, I try not to think about it during the week because it's bad enough thinking about it as the game is unfolding on a Sunday or a Saturday or whenever these playoff games are. I don't like sitting with that.
This point is a problem for me this week because I'm finding that we're talking about all these what if they lose scenarios, Sal. And, I mean, they're favored to win, not by much, but they haven't lost the game or anything yet. And yet we're talking, what if they lose? What if this happens? What about Allen? What about McDermott? What about Bean? We're doing so much of that. And there really isn't, hear me out, because this might sound funny on its face, there really isn't that much of an upside this week. Like, you have to win in Jacksonville in the first round. You know, I mean, what was the season worth if you don't? So I don't want to make it all sort of in this negative framework, but a loss here is devastating, and a win is, kind of what needs to happen.
Go do it again is what a win is, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's right. I mean, the Jaguars are the team here that has nothing to lose and everything to gain, right? I mean, they kind of got here with a new head coach, and they have this resurgence, and you're kind of like the Bills of, I guess, 2017, maybe even 2019, right? Even though that sucked losing in 2019, it's like, okay, like you got there, you got the young quarterback, let's go, let's see what you can do. And they lost a pretty terrible fashion in that game, which left a sour taste in your mouth, but they didn't have to go win in Houston. Now it's like, okay, you've been there, and okay, like now's the time. If you don't win this game, then the season kind of becomes a failure in a lot of respects. I totally agree with that. I think about that part of it, which is, and for me, it's also the operation of it. Like literally, I'm emailing our boss today and like, hey, worst case scenario, if they lose on Sunday, we have to do locker clean out Monday. Like, what does this look like? Where do you want me? How do you want to do this? Right? Like these are things that I have to start planning for.
Logistically,
right? That, my life changes. That's the part of it. I'm not trying to, I know it does for a lot of us, but my life completely changes on the result of a Buffalo Bills playoff game each week, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, how do you feel about the I don't know, the pressure, the narrative that the deck is clear, they got to go do it. Because I think boiling it down, I don't think it's entirely fair. Of course, I mean, what is in big media, right? I mean, narratives just take off, and the flames get fanned, and the conversation just grows and grows and grows. But I don't think it's entirely unfair to look at the Bills, through the years here and say, like, this is as clean a look as you're going to get, even though you're not at home. I mean, it'd be a much easier sell to me if the Bills were Denver, sitting home waiting with no Mahomes and no Lamar Jackson and all the. I mean, holy cow. Talk about regrets. Not getting the 1 seed in this year is just what a miss. But I don't mind that the Bills are expected to go win because they've got the best quarterback and they've got the resume here. They've been deep in the playoffs multiple times here in this era. So I think there should be pressure on them.
Yeah, so there's a lot there, and I think it comes down to, for me, the two different aspects of the team and the quarterback conversation, right, that's been going on lately. And I'll start with the team. Agreed. You're here now. You've built this team. You've come close. You didn't get there. your goal is to get the 1 seed. You didn't not only do that, you didn't win the division, right? So far you've kind of fallen short of the first goal of the season, but you still have everything in front of you. You get to what your ultimate goal is, but you got to win some games to get there. And that's going to be hard to do, but you have every opportunity in the world to do it because you have arguably the best player in the sport, right? I mean, you put yourself in this position, and the fact that you have to go on the road for 3 straight games is probably because you didn't take care of business earlier, but now you have a chance to atone for that. I have made the comment several times that if the Bills do lose on Sunday, I am guessing Monday is pretty much all Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean radio on WGR. That's probably what it is, right? It's everybody calling up and giving their opinion. I don't shy away from that. I think it's right. I understand it. It doesn't mean that we're saying they should or shouldn't move on, but I think fans will have that appetite to talk about it because they've had that appetite already, no doubt. I think where it comes to me, where I get annoyed is the quarterback conversation about this because, yes, I agree. Like Josh Allen has, he is a quarterback, and in this sport, quarterbacks are judged on rings. I don't think that's totally fair, especially in Buffalo, where we have lived through Hall of Fame players losing 4 times in the Super Bowl. I think we're a little more sensitive, I know I am, to, well, he never got it done and he shouldn't be regarded as one of the greats because of that. I think that's a bunch of baloney. We know how great Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed were. I know how great Dan Marino was and Warren Moon was. I don't dock them for not winning a Super Bowl, but I understand the legacy part. I do. That's what this sport is built on. And this right now is a chance for Josh Allen to really go forward and cement a legacy here, considering the other people who he has not been able, who the Bills have not been able to beat, are not in this. What bothers me is the talk about Allen to say that completely disregards the fact that the other guys couldn't even get there. Right? Like he has him and James Cook have arguably dragged the Bills to the playoffs, and they don't get credit for that, but he's going to get criticism for not winning once they're there. And if they don't, that makes me mad. It reminds me of when LeBron James went to a bunch of NBA finals, but his record was bad. Well, look at his record in the finals. Ha ha ha. I'm like, yeah, but he beat all these people that like to get there. Like you're not even like the people that didn't get there don't get the criticism. He got there. Like, what did it take to get there? That's what bothers me.
I mean, I was over here criticizing all the other NBA players when this was happening, but that didn't seem to, get clicks. Let's put it that
Didn't
way.
move the meter much.
With Sal Capaccio on the West Her Hotline, I don't mean to minimize
Sorry
that point
about that.
at all.
I rambled on a little bit. I got a little heated there. I think it's a great conversation. Like, I think it's a great thing to kind of see, but it's been getting very annoying to me to see this about Josh Allen. And I understand the legacy part, but why are we not even mentioning the talking heads, the people saying this, not even mentioning the people who didn't get there, but yet he's going to be criticized if he does get there because of him, but that ultimately the team doesn't win.
I know. I mean, you're not wrong. We talked about this a lot yesterday, and I mean, Allen, unlike other great quarterbacks who didn't get to a Super Bowl, that's where we're at. It's not even winning one. It's not getting to one yet. He has had great performances in the playoffs. Peyton Manning was different, where Manning left you wanting in those games. Lamar Jackson is more like that, where it's mistakes and, it's more on the quarterback. The failure is more on the quarterback. That is not the same points you're making. You're talking about guys who didn't even get to the postseason by comparison. But I just want to see the game first, Earlier we were talking, I know you were listening, who do you want to be at the 2-minute warning, up 3, or with the ball? Do you want to be the team that can drive for the win or the tie, force whatever it is? Or do you want to defend? Say it's like after a kickoff, so the 35 or whatever that would be. Which side would you take?
I think it's a fascinating discussion, and I've almost always in any sport taken the side of I want to be the team winning. I'm already winning. The other team has to do work to beat me. I put myself in a position to win the game. So the other team has to try and beat me, and it's incumbent upon them to make the particular plays. Even in basketball, would I rather be the team on defense up 2 and defending, or would I rather be the team down 2 on offense, with the ball? I want to be the team that's up because you have to make the play. So that's the way I approach these things. Now, I do think that there's some argument and nuance to, well, what's the score of the game? Like if you tell me it's 45-42, I'm probably saying I want the ball. That means that you haven't been able to stop me all day, right? If it's 10-7, I want to totally be on defense. Your score is a good score, Mike, because it's kind of in between. But I did think about the fact that if it's 28-24, well, that basically means you've only scored 3 touchdowns so far through the first 3+ quarters. So I'm going to take my chance. You're not going to score another touchdown, and I'm going to play defense here.
Interesting, and if you missed this, I kind of hope you did so that you'll like this. Maybe you already heard it from yesterday's show. According to Pro Football Reference, for what it's worth, if you are down 4, so this is with the Bills as the team, as a 1.5-point favorite. That's baked into the win probability. If you're down 4, Bills are down 4, 2-minute warning, 1st and 10 at their own 35, they'd be 37.5% to win. So 3 out of 8 scenarios they would win. If they're down 3, it's only 30%.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
It's because you play more conservative.
Play
right?
the field goal, and then you got overtime to deal with, probably. Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? So this is interesting. Matt Bove and I, we did a podcast today, and we were talking about Matt Prater, which we can get to him in a minute. And Matt made the comment on the podcast of, well, you know what? I mean, if you go into the game with Matt Prater, sure, you want him, and then he gets injured, then, like, I was making the point, maybe you want 2 kickers active just in case something happens to him during the game. Right. And Matt's like, well, do you really care? Then just go for 2 and don't kick. And I'm like, you want to have a no kicker in the game? And he said, yeah. And I get that point, but here, to your point, Mike, but if that is the case, the defense knows that I have to go for it on 4th down. They're going to play me different on 3rd down. I think there's so many variables here.
Yep. All right, well, let's get to the injuries.
Let's get to the kickers. Yeah. What do you think the chances are they do that? I mentioned to Mike earlier, like Prater, well, you can tell us what Prater said, but is it a crazy thing to do to have the practice squad kicker called up in case something happens to Prater during the game?
It's not crazy. It's tricky. I think there's 2 parts to this. Number one, first of all, Matt Prater did talk with us today. He did not practice today. But what he said, he actually did use the word precautionary, which is really encouraging when it came to last Sunday when he left the game. He said because of the cold and warming up, his right quad stiffened up on him. So that's why they took him out of the game. He didn't kick. He didn't kick today, but he said he feels confident going into tomorrow. He'll be able to get quality work in, but he still has to do it. He has to do it tomorrow, has to do it on Friday. It's obviously going to be warmer in Jacksonville. So I'm encouraged. He sounded pretty darn confident that he's encouraged, but he also could be, just because that's the way people are wired and he wants to go out there and he wants to do it. Now, that being said, there's 2 parts to this. Number one, I don't think it's crazy at all to elevate Matthew Wright Saturday at 4 p.m. for Sunday's game, because you could get to Sunday morning, and what if Matt Prater wakes up and he has a quad that's stiffened up on him, right? Because of a plane ride and whatever. Now if you don't have somebody available, you can't even activate him for the game. It's tricky because you only get 2 elevations, so that would be one of them. Okay, then you get to that. Let's even say you do that. Now you're talking about 90 minutes before the game making a call on actually putting the guy on the 48-man game day roster. Sure, you could do it, and Bulldog, I don't think it's crazy at all, but there's only 48 guys who can dress, and there's other people banged up, and you're going to have to use those spots. That's where I think it's tricky.
Sal Capaccio on the Wester hotline. Josh Palmer today's a walkthrough, which I think is, send Prater down there tomorrow. Get warm. Go down there. It's going to be warmer before Sunday anyway. Right. What does it need to be here for?
I don't need you to be flying 12 hours before the game or 24 hours before the game.
Warm up, get touched, whatever it is you got to do to get your leg right. Palmer on this injury report, is that something new?
Yeah, well, it's something that we didn't expect today. Sean McDermott met with us before practice. He told us who would be participating, who wouldn't today. Joshua Palmer was not on that list. He did not mention him. So, as we've talked many times before, it could be that maybe they decided before they went out, you know what, let's just back off on Josh Palmer today. He's been dealing with the ankle all year. Or it could be something that happened and flared up, and they're like, okay, well, I guess he can't practice today. Like, we don't know exactly where that is. We'll find out for sure more tomorrow. It was a walkthrough today, an estimation, as you guys know, when that happens. So, I think it's something to be concerned about, but they've been down this road with Josh Palmer a lot, especially, it's the second half of the year here, and it just seems like he just can't get right.
But it'd be really interesting to see what they do there if that lingers. If he is unable to go, like, is that automatically Keon Coleman? I'm thinking about how McDermott has been so in love with Mecole Hardman's speed. That's a practice squad elevation, so that might get complicated. I just wonder what they would end up doing at receiver. The easy button would be, well, Coleman's the next guy up.
That's probably right. I mean, We know what they feel about Brandon Cooks. I mean, he did not play last week because they want to keep him ready, right? I mean, so obviously he's a guy that they need. We know what they feel about Tyrell Shavers. He's out there no matter what every week. And if obviously Khalil Shakir. So I think Keon Coleman would be. The other name you get to is Gabe Davis, but honestly, I'd be stunned if Gabe Davis didn't play in this game.
Me too.
I mean, you go back to Jacksonville, the place that just cut you. And I mean, we talked with Gabe at length today too in the media, and he's not going to say he has friends down there. Gabe's not going to give you bulletin board material, but I suspect Gabe Davis would really like to go to Jacksonville and play well in this game.
What's your latest thinking about the Jaguars, Sal? Just the overall quality, how they match up with the Bills?
I mean, it's good on good in a lot of areas, right? Which is especially the Bills' run offense against the Jags' run defense. That's going to be a tough matchup. This is a Jacksonville Jaguars team that faced Jonathan Taylor twice, Christian McCaffrey, and other good running backs. They never allowed 75 yards rushing to anybody, more than 75. That's a tough deal for the Bills. But I think one thing the Bills have done really well this year, and I can think about games like Carolina and then game like Pittsburgh, where they did the same thing but in two different ways, where they have been able to pivot to different kinds of runs, different styles of runs. They are a very, very adaptable offensive line, adaptable offense to run the ball in different fashion and say, okay, they're very good at stopping the run, but I mean, really, could they stop anything you do with them? Maybe, I guess, but maybe it's toss sweep like in Carolina. Maybe it's inside zone with a bounce, against Pittsburgh, whatever it is. I think the Bills will absolutely try to do that. I mean, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is playing really well. He's pushing the ball down the field. Here's good on good. But the Bills are the best team in the league at not allowing explosive plays. They keep everything in front of you. And I think in this game, one thing the Bills are going to want to do is really make Trevor Lawrence be patient and try to force him into a mistake. And he hasn't made a lot of mistakes lately, but I think as a more inexperienced quarterback in these situations, that's something you're going to try and want to do.
Are you deterred at all by the fact that Parker Washington's real name is Christopher Parker Washington? Does that give you pause? He's named for Bulldog?
Did not even know that until you just mentioned
Christopher Parker Washington.
Right.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
I got a guy, Sal.
I
hope he doesn't break our hearts.
What we're not spending enough time on is that, incredibly, when the total for a Jacksonville Jaguars game is 49 or higher, they are 1-25 all time straight up, with the one being their first of these games in the 90s. 25 in a row. When it's been basically predicted to be a high-scoring game, they have lost. I mean, going back decades. That's kind of incredible.
Yeah. I did not believe this when you first said it. Like, I did believe it, but I'm like, I got to look it up. I actually pulled it up on Sports Reference, on
StatHead.
the site here, StatHead. It's incredible. It's just loss after loss after loss, and I'm looking at it, and I know Bulldog. I was listening on my way back from the stadium. You asked how many in the Trevor Lawrence era. And when was Lawrence drafted? 2020, did we decide? Or I think that was when it was. I'm not really sure. Anyway, they've had 16 games since 2020, but a lot of them that year. 1 in 21, a couple in 22, and they've had a few over the last few years where they've been the over-under total has been that high, and they have not won the game. By the way, in that one game against San Francisco, it was 41-3, so they crushed them, right? But yes, it is an amazing stat. It really is. But here's the thing: I don't know what to think about that or do with it. It's a fun stat.
That's right.
That this is a great, like, another great example or anecdote, a way of looking at things of how much does it matter the history between the Jags and Bills, right? The Bills going to Jacksonville. You have that game in 17. You have that awful game in 21 against Urban Meyer. You have the game in London. And there are a lot of Bills fans and people in the media who will say, it's just they just don't play well there. They don't play well against them. They don't play well against them away from home. I just don't think that way. I think professional athletes don't care about that. They don't wake up on Wednesday morning before practice and go, "Oh my God, we don't play well in Jacksonville." Like it's just not what you do.
Totally right.
You get ready for each game. So we asked Mitch Morse this yesterday on. By the way, I just want to promote it. Mitch was amazing on the Always Game Day Buffalo podcast. Obviously, he played for the Bills. He played for the Jags to end his career. And I said, settle this debate because Bove thinks it matters. I don't think it matters. He basically sided with me, but he did say, which was interesting. He said, when I was a player, I wouldn't care about that. Like, every team is different. You go out to play that game. He said, but now I'm in this spot, meaning in the media. He goes, I do kind of think of it that way a little bit, which is really interesting perspective.
Yeah. Well, you need something to say. over here. We need things to say. So here's something you can say and maybe even talk yourself into. Lawrence is the 21 draft, so he's played
I was about to say
five seasons. I didn't know earlier. Wasn't sure.
Right.
So he's been around for 8 of these games where the total was 49 or higher, all losses. And also, you have the stat head page up like I do, probably. It's 26 games. They were favored in 3 of the 26. So it's not like they would have been upsets had they won almost all of these games. Any of these games would have been an upset by the point spread.
They came close. They had an overtime loss here to Minnesota, I see, in 20.
Yeah, that's one that happened. They almost won that one. That's right.
But they got not a lot of these games are close though, Mike. You know what I mean? Like you look at the scores here too, which is crazy.
Yep. It's an amazing streak. More or less amazing than Pittsburgh winning 23 straight Monday night home games.
Oh my God! I know. We were talking about that today too.
Amazing.
Just like,
the
geez.
Steelers streak is incredible.
Jeff Hostetler is the last road quarterback to win a Monday night game. There.
I mean, that is super incredible. That's the thing I keep thinking about. Like, I'm with Bove today. We're talking about all this, and I'm like, I keep thinking about what's Sunday like. I'm flying back on the charter, and I'm either thinking, okay, locker cleanout day tomorrow, talking about McDermott, talking about Bean, starting the process over again. Or I'm like, I can't wait to get home and kick my feet up and watch this damn Chargers-Patriots game. It's going to be awesome just to kind of, all right, we're all good. We're clear. We're in the next round. Let's see what you guys got. You know what I mean?
Right.
If the
it's just such a juxtaposition. It really is.
Yep.
Bills win, Chargers win, Bills get the Monday night winner on the road in the second round. Bills win, Patriots win, then they get Denver in the second round. They can't get New England in the second round. So there it is.
And by the way, Tomlin, as great as they've been on Monday night, he's not that great on a short week.
Uh-oh.
So my guess is, and I'm guessing, they're not going to put the Steelers or the Texans on Saturday next week, right?
I would think.
So that winner's going to play on Sunday, but it'll still be a short week. It'll be 6 days. Monday night to Sunday will be a short week.
That's new. That's new for us. That's new for us, Sal. Good point. Because that means I just laid out the possible matchups. The Bills will not play the Steelers-Texans winner on Saturday. So that means their game will probably be on Saturday if it's the Denver game.
I'm not so sure about that, Mike. I think you could be right. If I remember correctly, the teams that have finished with the 1 seed have almost always played on Sunday. But I could be wrong about that. I have to go back and look. I thought I remembered that last year. It's not like anything I looked up recently, but it is something to look up.
It is different now maybe with I'm just thinking the conferences would each split the 2 days, but maybe that doesn't always happen anymore. It always
no, they have not. They've actually had a lot of. You're right, but I do know that over the last few years, there's been a few times where I'm like, oh, it's interesting. They're putting the NFC on one day and the AFC on the other day. Okay, like it's just kind of more random now. You know what I mean?
And now those early games in the playoffs by the second round start at like 3, don't they, or even later? So you wouldn't have Denver at 1 o'clock, but there might not be a 1 o'clock game anymore after this week.
Right, divisional, they've started doing that. And by the time we get to divisional, we're to CBS and Fox, right? Is the Prime is out of the mix,
That's
ESPN's out of the mix, like it's just or does ESPN get a divisional game but it's on a Saturday or
I'll look. I'm not sure.
No, do you guys remember when the Bills played divisional last year?
This is Baltimore. It's Sunday night.
Yeah. Sunday night was a 6:30 game though. It wasn't really a Sunday night. It was 6:30 p.m. That's when they did that. But they have so last year divisional was Saturday at 4:30, Saturday at 8, Sunday at 3, Sunday at 6:30.
Yeah. Okay. And Seattle will have to have a later game too, but these are all later games because they'll be home next week. All right. Exciting stuff. Thank you, Sal.
You got it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Our Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearance.